Am I on?
There's a lot of beauty in that. That's a skill.
Good morning. Please find your seats and prepare for this morning's service. Mike, oh, there we go. Excellent. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Columbia. My name is Kate Heald, and I am your service leader today. Our minister is the Reverend Stephen Robinson. Our services are streamed on YouTube and Zoom, but no matter how you choose to join us, you are always welcome. We encourage everyone to read the announcements in our order of service using the QR code provided. So we have a lot going on. I know it's sometimes hard to take time to figure out everything that is going on, but we would appreciate your taking a look and joining us whenever you can. We also provide weekly email updates every Thursday, and don't forget to check out our website at uucolumbia.org. We welcome families with children. Maybe not. Today, children and youth. Today, children and youth are invited to bring the toys and books found at the back of the social hall to their seats while they stay in service with their parents. For infants and children to age 5, we do provide childcare, and we'd love to have more childcare volunteers. Paid positions are also available. To be a volunteer, please see Bethany Sterlazzi. Bethany, are you? Or Jonathan White. And now please silence all devices as we center ourselves for today's service and listen to the prelude.
I'm looking forward to sharing some info with you about today's music. As we recognize and honor African American History Month, all of the music in our service today is by African American composers and songwriters. And I'm going to be sharing, both for the prelude and offertory, 4 short pieces by Dr. Valerie Capers, who was born in New York City and received her early schooling at the New York Institute for the Education of the Blind. She went on to obtain both her bachelor's and master's degree from Juilliard and was awarded the honorary degree of Doctor of Fine Arts. She served on the faculty of the Manhattan School of Music and was chairman of the Department of Music and Art at Bronx Community College. At home, both in the classical and jazz world, Valerie Capers composed a set of 12 pieces called Portraits in Jazz, and each of these pieces recognizes and honors a prominent jazz musician. The 2 short pieces I'll share for the prelude this morning are first the Waltz for Miles, which is in honor of Miles Davis, who lived from 1926 to 1991. A famous jazz trumpeter, bandleader, and composer. He was one of the most influential and acclaimed figures in the history of jazz and 20th century music. Christopher Smith wrote over his 5 decades career, his approach, owing largely to the African American performance tradition that focused on individual expression, emphatic interaction, and creative response, had a profound impact on generations of jazz musicians. And the second piece will be to honor Thelonious Monk, who lived from 1917 to 1982, a unique jazz pianist and composer who made numerous contributions to the standard jazz repertoire. He had a very unique improvisational style. He once said, "The piano ain't got no wrong notes." And his touch was described as harsh and percussive, striking, even in ballads, and featured a dissonance and intentional silences and hesitations.
Thank you, Anna. Please stand and join me in the covenant of our congregation in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve others in community, thus do we covenant with one another. Please be seated. Again, welcome. Unitarian Universalism is a diverse and non-creedal religion. Our community is based on deeds, not creeds. We are a covenantal religion, which means that we don't have to believe the same in order to treat each other the same, with respect, equity, compassion, and dignity. We side with love, embracing and welcoming all people. Our board members and our committee chairs welcome your questions and comments. Board members may be recognized by their green name tags. Now we would like to recognize any guests or visitors who are here today. Mary Martin is going to come and grab the microphone. So visitors, please wait for the microphone, then please rise and share with us your name and where you are from. If you have guests with you, please feel free to introduce them. Do we have any visitors today? Hey.
Hello, I'm Jason Moss, and I'm a visitor. My mom is Sir Ashley. Chuck, yeah. I fell off of a roof when I was 24, but I survived, so hello.
Welcome. Is there anyone else? All right, thank you, Mary. Visitors, if you would like to know more about UUCC or folks who are seeing us for the first time on YouTube or Zoom, please let us know. For those of you here, please place a visitor card in the collection plate and we will email you about our upcoming events. Today's chalice lighter is Corbin Donahue. And when I asked Corbin what he would like people to know, he says that he loves music and is working on improving his guitar playing. Spirit of light and life, come unto us. Opening hymn is 1020, Wo Ya Ya. If you could please stand.
This hymn is in your teal hymnal, and I'll invite you to stand as you're willing and able to join in singing. The song Wo Ya Ya is from Ghana by the Afro-rock band Osibisa from 1971. Wo Ya Ya can be translated as We Are Going. The version we have in our hymnal is from an arrangement by Isai Barnwell, then was performed by Sweet Honey in the Rock. There are some repeats in the form, and we're going to go back and go through it twice. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know within. And we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Thank you. You can be seated. Our opening words today come from Carter G. Woodson. Those who have no record of what their forebears have accomplished lose the inspiration which comes from the teaching of biography and history. If a race has no history, if it has no worthwhile tradition, it becomes a negligible factor in the thought of the world and stands in danger of being exterminated. This time I invite any of our children who are here to join me down front for the story for all ages. And this is truly a story for all ages today, so the adults will get to participate as well. We'll give it a chance for the children to come from the nursery as well. They're on a little bit of a time delay back there with the feed. And they're getting toddlers down here, so see if you could do it faster. So as they're making their way down, if you would like to, as adults, take your hymnal and turn to hymn 149, and we're gonna help the kids learn a new song. Good morning. How's everybody doing? I'm going to stand up so everybody can see the book today. I got it. All right, we're going to learn a song. Are you ready to learn a song? Yeah. All right, it's a little tough, but I'm going to show you the words, and the adults and Miss Anna are going to help us sing it. And so we're going to start by singing it, and it may be one that you know. I'm going to show you the words, and then I'm going to share a little story about this song. So can everybody see those words? Yes. We're just going to sing this part right here. All right. Everybody see that? And the adults are going to help, right? All right, so Anna, whenever you're ready.
If you want to see the words on your own, it's hymn 149.
Yep. All right, you got them there, Rebecca.
Liberty.
yourselves a big hand. So I want to share a story about a little girl. Can everybody see the little girl? And the book is entitled Sing a Song. And it's about that song that we just sang that has inspired generation after generation. And so the book starts by saying, before you were born, a little girl learned a song. Got any idea? Before you were born, let's see, for the folks that are up here, the little ones, that's not that many years ago, but you know what? I think I could safely say before anybody here was born today. Anybody here born before 1900? All right. So this applies to all people out there, story for all ages. So 1900, 124 years ago, before you were born, a little girl learned a song. Her principal, James Weldon, and his brother, John Rosamond Johnson, had written a hymn for a celebration of President Abraham Lincoln's birthday. The girl wanted to make them proud, so she hummed the song on her way home from school, and she practiced it as she did her chores at home. And then on the big day, February 12th, 1900, she was part of a choir of 500 people. Back straight, head high, heart and mouth open, and she sang the song that we just sang. Lift every voice and sing, the earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. And this is a great little book. We don't have time to read all of it today, but as she sang that song, she grew up. She taught that song to her son, and her son sang that song as a little baby, as a little boy in a choir. That little boy grew up one day, and he sang it with his wife and his baby daughter as they rocked her to sleep, and she learned that song. And as she grew up in school learning about the civil rights movement, she was taught that song, and she sang that song, a song full of faith that everything all in the past has taught us. She kept on singing. She grew up. She sang that to her baby boy as she rocked him to sleep. And he sang it and learned that song and taught it to his daughter. And that's where we're going to pick up the story. And you know, his little girl, so this would be the great-great-granddaughter of the little girl that started the story. His little girl learned that same song, and on another big day, September 24th, 2016, she stood in a crowd of thousands along with her mom and dad. And does anybody know who that is? I heard Obama somewhere. That's right, President Obama, the First Lady, and generations of one family rang the freedom bell. A dream born a century ago to honor Black lives and contributions had finally come true. The National Museum of African American History and Culture was officially open. So, 6 generations later, with the Washington Monument piercing the sky, the little girl stared at the bronze building, majestic as a crown. As bells around the nation tolled in triumph, she heard a voice rising too, clear and strong. It was a song she heard her parents sing. Back straight, head high, heart and mouth open, she sang, facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till the victory is won. So, as we learned this song this morning, here's the advice from the author in the story. You know what? This song is a part of your history too, every one of us. So sing when you score a victory. Sing when your tough times get you down. Sing and think of all the people who sang before you, who carried on and pushed forward even when everything was against them. Sing and remember that they never stopped believing. Say, keep singing. That's right. Say, keep pushing. Keep pushing. Say, keep passing it on. Keep passing it on. And then lastly, keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. So thank you for singing, and thank the adults for singing this morning, and enjoy your time. Thank you all for singing and surrounding this next generation this morning. As we prepare for our offering, as we prepare for our candles of community first, this is a time for us to share our joys and concerns as a congregation together. There are always candles in the foyer if you would like to pick one up. And if you did so this morning, I invite you to come down and briefly share your joy and your concern and place your candle here.
Good morning. Janice Klein. I'm lighting a candle because today would be Dad's 81st birthday. So Warren Gooch in heaven, happy birthday.
I'm Susan Robinson, lighting this candle for Mary McLaughlin, who's out in Sacramento, and it is for her sister, Nancy Butterworth, who had a stroke last Friday. Apparently she's okay. I mean, she's doing all right, but she's in Palmetto, no, not, Richland, Prisma, sorry, dating myself. And she can say her name, but Mary's been in touch with her husband over the phone, so this is to keep her in our thoughts.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jim Kembler. I'm on the kitchen committee as well as the caring committee and the finance committee. But I want to talk about the kitchen committee for just a minute. That's my joy because it's a small but extremely cheerful and willing group of volunteers that bring you coffee and snacks every Sunday. And my concern is these blank spaces on the sign-up calendar that says we're getting fewer and fewer volunteers. We have no volunteers for March, and we have none for the next 2 weeks either. So we'd really like to have some new people that would be willing to work alongside of us and keep this wonderful tradition going. Thank you.
Everybody, this is my son Jesse, who you've been hearing about for years. He fell through a skylight and 45 feet to the concrete below, broke almost every bone in his body and most especially his head. And he was never expected to be able to speak or recognize us or feed himself or talk at all or walk. And he does all these things. He doesn't walk a whole lot unassisted, but he can stand up by himself. And he does speak and comprehend what everyone is saying to him. And he would be very happy for everyone to come meet him after service and let him talk to you, because he does speak now. Yeah. He's 31 years old now. He fell when he was 24. So he's had a great deal of therapy. He has a real can-do attitude. He's tried very, very hard to get where he is today, and we are very proud of him. So I'm going to light this candle for Jesse.
I'm Kevin McKinney, and I am here to light a candle of gratitude and joy and appreciation on behalf of all of the folks who aren't here today because they are up at the mountain finishing up the work weekend or maybe on their way back by now. I got to be part of that for 3 days this week. Connie and I were up there. She's recuperating at home after more time on her feet than she's had recently. But we enjoyed it, as we always do. It's a great way to get to know some of the folks who perhaps you see around, but may not have had the chance to spend much time with. There's nothing like sweeping a floor with somebody, or raking leaves with somebody, or splitting logs with somebody, or organizing a workroom with somebody to allow time to talk and interact and just be together. So it's a great thing. As I said, I'm pleased, grateful, and appreciative. And I do have one practical coda to that, which is because we're up at the mountain, we didn't put out a reminder that this is the Green Team social action meeting today, but yes, that's still going on too. So hope to see some of you after service there.
I'm lighting a candle because February 16th would have been the 40th birthday of my husband. He passed away 5 years ago, but I remember him well and share his memory with our children, and we celebrate him positively, even though he can't be here with us anymore. But in the 10 years that he was in my life, he had a positive impact on me. And so I remember that and try and keep it well. Michael Prophet.
The last candle that we light is for our joys and concerns that we're holding silently. I invite you to a time of reflection, of breathing, and connecting to all that you've heard. As we prepare for our offering this morning, a reminder that our Share the Plate recipient is the South Carolina Appleseed Legal Justice Center. And you can read about the various ways that you can donate as a part of our Share the Plate this month. I invite our ushers to come and receive our offering.
Our offertory music today will be two more short selections from Valerie Caper's Portraits in Jazz. The first, Billy's Song, in honor of Billie Holiday, who lived from 1915 to 1959, jazz and swing singer nicknamed Lady Day. She was known for her unique vocal delivery and improvisational skills. She had a difficult childhood and dropped out of school at age 11. She began singing in nightclubs in Harlem as a young teen and made her first recording at age 18, and continued to have a performing and recording career. She first performed the song Strange Fruit, a song about lynching, in 1939 at an integrated nightclub in Greenwich Village, with trepidation, fearing retaliation. Holiday said her father, Clarence Holiday, was denied medical treatment for a fatal lung disorder because of racial prejudice, and that singing Strange Fruit reminded her of the incident. In her autobiography, she wrote, "It reminds me of how Pop died, but I have to keep singing it, not only because people ask for it, but because 20 years after he died, the things that killed him are still happening in the South." And the second piece, Bluebird, will honor Charlie Parker, nicknamed Bird or Yardbird, a jazz saxophonist, bandleader, and composer who lived from 1920 to 1955 and was a highly influential soloist and leading figure in the development of bebop.
receive our offering this morning, symbol of our commitment to our good work. Thank you, Anna, for continuing our musical celebration of African American History Month, which began with Sylvia last week singing with Lindbergh so beautifully, the great work of Stevie Wonder. So I will tell you that I've listened to that a few times. I had to drive to the northern part of the state this week to Seneca, and so I was listening to that YouTube on the way and just enjoying it. I have to make sure I stop the YouTube because if I get to the sermon part, I might fall asleep. So as I'm driving, so I had to keep backing it up. Not that I'm condoning doing anything with your phone while you're driving down the interstate, but just so you know, I enjoyed it a few times this week. I thought a great way for us to spend some time today celebrating African American History Month would be to do it in a way that its founder would really not appreciate whatsoever. So I apologize, Carter Woodson, if you're listening right now, but he wanted no attention focused on himself around this particular time and this particular emphasis in the month of February. And for him, it was the week in February. But nevertheless, we're going to focus a little bit on Carter Woodson. Carter G. Woodson was born on December 19th, 1875 in New Canton, Virginia. He was the fourth of 9 children born to parents who had been enslaved. As an African-American boy, he grew up in central Virginia during the late 19th century and then moved to Huntington, West Virginia to work the coal mines and supplement the family's income. And then at the age of 20, he had finally raised enough money and earned enough money to fund his education at Frederick Douglass High School in Huntington, West Virginia, which was one of the few schools at the time that received African-American students. He received his diploma in just 2 years there because he had done so much self-taught work prior to his time and learning about reading and writing and arithmetic, and then earned his first collegiate degree in Kentucky in 1903. 1909, he accepted a teaching position at the training school in Washington, D.C., where he taught English, French, Spanish, and history. After completing a PhD there, Woodson returned to the Armstrong School as principal. He earned his PhD in history from Harvard University, making him the second African American, only following W.E.B. Du Bois, to graduate with a PhD from Harvard, and the only person of enslaved parentage to earn a PhD in history from any institution in the United States. So as you can see, Carter Woodson is worth talking about, right? Immersing himself in this world of education, he noticed the really prevailing ignorance and lack of learning, lack of education around life of African Americans in history. He attempted to correct this oversight and co-founded the Association for American Life and History, an organization that aimed to teach in public schools how to teach about education and the contributions of Black Americans in the formation of the country and its history and its culture. He purchased a home in Washington, D.C. on 9th Street, where he located the association's headquarters on the ground floor and then lived on the 3rd floor until his death in 1950. While running this association, he took on many other roles in teaching as a principal, as an educator. He was the dean of the School of Liberal Arts and head of the graduate faculty at Howard University. He was the dean at West Virginia Collegiate Institute, known as West Virginia State University now. He was respected in the academic world. He mentored individuals. His efforts to promote also included women, including one of his mentees, Mary McLeod Bethune. He had a tremendous influence on welcoming women into the world of education as well, something that his colleagues, even his African-American colleagues, would not do. He published a bulletin called the African American History Bulletin in 1937 and founded it, and in that one of those articles in 1937, he decided to say, we need a week to commemorate African American history. He chose, in the February edition, to commemorate the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass to establish this week of African American history. And since he compromised himself, even with doing so, I will share his words about how he thought about a week of celebrating those two birthdays. He actually didn't think it was a good idea to celebrate the birthday of Abraham Lincoln or Frederick Douglass, and to have all of that emphasis on what he would call ignorant spellbinders that would get up and speak and drone on and on about these two individuals. But as he said, he believed that history was made by people, not just single individuals, and definitely not just two men in our history. He would often say that Lincoln did not free the slaves, or at least he didn't do it alone. The Union Army, including hundreds and thousands of black soldiers and sailors, had actually done that. And so rather than focusing on two people in the community, he believed we should focus across history on the countless men and women who have contributed to the advance of human civilization. He was a bit of a pessimist in that he believed that eventually this movement was going to die. He thought that we will never in our future have a week in February dedicated to African American history. He could see on the landscape by the time of his death in 1950 that the culture was shifting, and he knew that this was going to be eventually destroyed. Little did he know, 20 years later, we expanded it to an entire month in the 1970s, and he didn't get to see that month-long celebration. I wonder what he would think about dedicating the entire month of February to the stories of African American men and women in our history. His story is a story of resilience, stories that have to be told, stories of histories that have to be learned, even if they're painful, even if they teach us some of the darkest times of human history, they still have to be told. There's a UU minister in Minneapolis at the First Church of Universalist Church of Minneapolis that teaches worship and liturgical arts, Dr. Glenn Thomas Rideout, and I'm just going to read his biography for himself, is an artist, minister, teacher, lover, writer, gardener, and friend, born in Baltimore to a big, beautiful black family. In writing and reflecting on his time in school, he shares these words. He says that all of the students were getting up and sharing their history projects, and his best friend at the time, when it was his turn to present his history project, began with delight, flashing this large poster board and this permanent marker of a family tree that was outlined. He had been able to trace his ancestors back to the 1500s. And Rideout writes, I wonder how he managed to discover so much and so many people. I tried something like that a year before. I asked every adult in my family. I stayed in the local library a long time, day in and day out, and they even gave me a job at the desk. I combed the internet looking for something of my deeper heritage so that I could imagine myself that kind of family tree. My friend was talking about German ancestors, and I remember feeling confusion. I had no idea where he was getting all of this information about his great-great-great-great-grandparents. I looked around me, and none of the other black kids in the classroom seemed to have a clue either. We just don't have those kind of stories. Ultimately, I realized that my white classmate had access to time that I didn't have, access to stories and connections that I could never have. Like most Black people in America, I rise on the shoulders of ancestors whose names I cannot know. Our ability to move through our own past is encumbered, cut off at the point where we as human beings are sold like cargo, the point of erasure. In order to shackle people to ships You have to untether them from their life stories and their heritage, their bloodlines and their land and their homes. You do all of this untethering, and for the rest of the generations of that person, for the rest of time, there will be no knowing of their stories. If from the beginning of racism and this human trafficking, the point was to build a country with people imprisoned and kept in their economic states, then the only way for America, for all of her people, to get any sort of free together is to act as if these stolen stories truly exist, to replace habits that encumber the movement and liberation of our kindred, to remember even the lives for which we know no names. We show our children now the truths of yesterday and the possibility of tomorrow, the deeper connection with the greater living story that brings a chance of wellness, healing, and repair for all of our lives. Painful and beautiful to understand and reflect on untethering life stories from their heritage, to be able to claim healing connection in the midst of stories whose names we don't know. So it's important that we tell the stories. It's important that we take time for this month of February and remember the history, recognizing that truly it's all our history. I am aware that this morning I sang a song that is called the African American National Anthem to a group of white faces of kids, but they looked and believed me when I said it's a part of your history too. And we have to think that way, that it's a part of our history connected together. As Rideout says, that's the way, when we claim that history together, that we actually create healing and experiences. Here at the UUCC, we say this every week, so let's see if you can repeat it. Our religious community centers on deeds. Yeah, you kind of like call and response on that, right? Deeds, not creeds. Sometimes we say things and do we ever think about what we're saying? Our community centers on deeds, not creeds. In other words, we don't have a set of creedal beliefs that you have to adhere to in order to be connected to this community. And there's nobody who is checking to make sure that you adhere to this set of beliefs in order to be a part of this community. Our community focuses on deeds, but deeds don't actually exist in a vacuum. Deeds are the actions of people. So studying our history means that we have to learn about the actions of our people. And that action fosters our creativity and our passion and our courage and our resilience. Their deeds pave the way for our deeds. And just to put another plug in for a social action committee that's getting ready to meet, right? Right? After the service. That's a place to do more deeds, to get involved in the deeds, not the creeds. But looking back in history, looking at the names of people that have paved the way for the deeds that we do going forward in our future. Deeds like that of Reverend Egbert Ethelrod Brown, who started a Unitarian congregation in Jamaica in 1908. In 1912, he was the first black man to be ordained as a Unitarian minister. And he founded the Harlem Community Church in New York City in 1921. He had a strong humanist theology that inspired his Unitarian faith, and he led that congregation for over 30 years, even when the American Unitarian Association targeted him and his congregation and revoked fellowship and membership for him as a minister and as a congregation. Despite that, the congregation remained an active and a strong arm for social justice in New York. We look back on that and we know, without a doubt, that the American Unitarian Association landed on the wrong side of history and got that one wrong. And although we can't change that history, we do have to tell it, we do have to speak to it, And maybe in doing so, we can take strides toward repairing the damage as we speak his name today and celebrate the deeds of this historical pillar of our faith. Say it with me. Reverend Egbert Ethelrod Brown. A new name for your history. Another name is Fanny Barrier Williams, who was born on February 12, 1855. She was an African-American teacher, an activist, a lecturer, a journalist. She was a talented speaker, writer, and musician. And when the Civil War ended, the federal government had established new schools in the South to educate newly freed slaves. And so she left her home, and inspired by one of her family friends, Frederick Douglass, she relocated to the South and taught daily African Americans who had been newly freed, and tried to adapt to the dreadful conditions in the South. And in her own autobiography, she said, "I did not know what I was getting into moving into the South." She said, "I had missed the training that would have made this continued humiliation possible for me." The Williams, she and her husband had no children, but they took on numerous projects around them. He was a successful lawyer. They organized the Prudence Crandall Study Club for the African American people to study. Fanny was a director of art and music, and with a generous donation from Armour in 1891, they established the Provident Hospital with a biracial staff and clientele and nurses, a nursing training school for African American students, as they were barred from all others. And this is where it really intersects with us. Fanny and her husband joined All Souls Unitarian Church in Chicago. We're talking about our Unitarian, our Universalist history here. Coming to national prominence in Chicago, she had a chance to give 2 speeches at occasions where African American leaders were excluded from the Columbian Exposition in Chicago. And so she had a chance to address the World Congress of Representative Women, and then she had a chance to address and deliver a speech to the World Parliament of Religions. I want to share a little bit of her speech to the World Parliament of Religions because it's going to sound a little bit like a Unitarian Universalist sermon. She said in her second speech that the Christians who brought Africans to this country as slaves preached the false, pernicious, demoralizing gospel to make them docile and the dependent. The masters just didn't open the Bible wide enough. However, the slaves would recognize the hypocrisy of those committing the atrocities. She further challenged them by saying, "What can religion further do to advance the condition of our people? More religion and less church, less theology and more of a human brotherhood, less declamation and more common sense for love and for truth. The tendency of creeds and doctrines obscure religion and make it complex. In nothing should we ever adhere to creeds, but the deeds of our fellow humans." So we say the name, Fanny Barrier Williams. 2 people who may not have been a part of your history before today, I don't know, but 2 people that hopefully you find an insatiable desire to learn more about, because there's a lot of information out there that you can learn and share. Even one of our UU textbooks gets it wrong in that when they describe the creation of the Frederick Douglass Center in Chicago, they only give credit to the white woman who contributed and don't name her, Fanny, as a co-founder, which was corrected later in another edition of that textbook. We have to keep saying the history and sharing the history because it's about deeds, not creeds. Deeds performed by remarkable people in our history, people of color in our history. As the Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrice Cullors puts it, our imagination has only allowed for us to understand Black people as a dying people. We have to change that. Some imagined handcuffs, some imagined guns, some imagined a jail cell. Well, we have to imagine something different that actually centers Black people and sees them into the future. So let's imagine something different. February is an opportunity for you and me to imagine something different, to reach back into history and bring the truth forward and celebrate it and grieve it alongside the people who contributed to it. So may we fulfill the dream of Carter Woodson when he started this week a long time ago, over a century ago, where the history of African Americans are celebrated not just in a week or a month, but celebrated all year long, where they're not just isolated stories in the corners of our history, but they're integrated deeds front and center in all of our history. May it be so.
Our closing hymn is in the Teal hymnal, number 1007, There's a River Flowin' in My Soul. This hymn is actually written by the same woman who wrote our closing song, I'm Gonna Lift My Sister Up, that we sang last week. Born Rose Sanders, her chosen name is Faya Ora Rose Touré, and she was born in 1945. She's an American civil rights activist and lawyer who was Alabama's first Black female judge. And she's also a prolific songwriter. Please join me in singing hymn number 1007. I'll play it once through before we sing.
Our closing words today come from the minister that I mentioned from Minnesota, Dr. Glenn Thomas Rideout, and it is his prayer. God, continue to fashion my people in our ancestors' image so that we may glimpse their stories in each other's eyes and trace over the marks of erasure in bold, provocative joy.
Please join in our congregational benediction. May the blessings
big thanks to everyone who are here for our service today. If you're a guest visiting with us, we please invite you to stick around and give us a chance to get to know you and us to get to know you as well. You heard Jesse's invitation. Stick around to get to know him. And if you do that, as I did before our service, Jesse's going to tell on his mom a little bit, right? Because Jesse told me, I've been asking her to bring me a lot, and she finally said yes. So, just know you're going to get Chuck in a little bit of trouble. But it's great to have you here, Jesse, and part of our service today. Continue the celebration, continue the reaching back in history, and know that it is a part of our history here at the UUCC. I thank you all for being here.